The positive side of the Eagles' night, Jalen Hurts, 14 rushes for 62 yards. The 2 touchdowns, of course, is what you love. And it didn't stop Saquon from having a completely fine night for Saquon. He scores as well. 60 carries. We saw some Will Shipley in this game, by the way, who looked pretty effective in the backup role. So over 24 points for Hurts. Jay, you have to be feeling great about that.
Feel very good about Jalen Hurts. I thought, and look, he didn't show up entirely in the stats. He had 24.3 fantasy points. He didn't have a passing touchdown. He didn't throw for big yardage. 62 yards on the ground, not absolutely massive. I thought he was awesome last night, Jalen Hurts. I thought in a weird way, it was a very Mahomes-y type performance where it doesn't necessarily show up in the stats, but it shows up in the underlying stuff. It's great by like EPA per play. I just thought he took everything that was there that the defense gave him. Yeah. He made every play that he needed to. He was great with the scrambling, scores 2 non-tush-push touchdowns, both taking what the defense gave him on those plays. So I think Jalen Hurts, look, I thought they were going to throw the ball. And they didn't, and we'll get to A.J. Brown and company. But I think that was largely a product of the way that Dallas was playing defense. That was like no man coverage, just all soft zones, and Jalen Hurts, he was just taking it. And so I think that, look, there is a very real chance, and it's not going out on a limb here, but Jalen Hurts could absolutely be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy this year, and he showed last night that he's got that potential.
For sure. I mean, we've seen it before, and we talked about it all in the preseason. We were saying, like, Jalen Hurts is actually weirdly of value this year because the difference between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts isn't that much, and yet for whatever reason, Jalen Hurts was just going like a round to a round and a half after those 3 guys that were all going more or less in the 3rd round, and then Jalen Hurts would fall to like sort of the end of the 4th, or those guys would go top of the 3rd, and he'd go like middle of the 4th. So it was just weird that, like, for whatever reason, people were out on Hurts relative to the other top 3 guys. But I'm with you. I thought Jalen Hurts played really, really well. Again, we'll get to Brown and Smith, but they were clearly a focal point of the defense. So, okay, Dallas Goedert. Okay, Jahan Dotson. Okay, you guys aren't going to get to me. You're going to get play back and, like, not bring pressure. And I look around. Okay, fine. I will make plays with my legs. And, like, he made some, like, really crazy jukes to keep plays alive, to get to the first
fresh.
He played smart. Clearly healthy. I agree with you. I thought he was brilliant last night.
The health point is the key thing. So the past 2 years, there's always been like, Jalen Hurts, like, is his knee really bothering him? Yeah. Like, why does he look slow? Like, he would just have these random games like that. And he has dealt with injuries and he's missed time, but he looks completely spry, and that's the best physically that he's looked in a while, I think.
I talked to a source, I wouldn't even say a source, but I was talking to somebody on the Eagles staff before the game. Yes, I was talking to Sirianni. Me and Big Dom. Yeah. Me, Big Dom, and Sirianni. We were just all hanging out, doing shots. No, like whatever. I was talking before the game. We're there for Football Night in America, and I was talking to somebody on the Eagles staff, and I said, hey, let me ask you something. Like, I said, I've been saying on air, me and my co-host, that we think you guys are going to throw more this year. Am I crazy on that? Or am I going to look stupid tonight? And he says, I honestly don't know. He goes, I really think what we're going to do is, listen, we know that everyone, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, we know that everyone has kind of got us circled on their calendars, and they have spent the offseason studying how to beat us. So I think there'll be some games where we are pass heavy, but I think if there's some games where we're going to very much sort of take what the defense gives us. We're going to it'll be game to game. It'll be sort of situation to situation. We're not going in with the attitude of like, this year we're definitely passing more, or this year we want to be very run heavy. We're just going to sort of see what the defense gives us and try to take it apart because we feel pretty good about where we are on all sides of the ball at every position, rightfully so. So, and that's what we saw last night. They played back. They played cover 2 a lot. They just kind of said like we're gonna play back, and so Jalen Hurts like, all right, then I couldn't understand why the Cowboys didn't leave a spy on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like trade-offs, right? Like you only get A.J. Brown 1 catch for 8 yards by not doing stuff like that. Like you got to pick your poison, I suppose. I do think that like the past 2 teams that have played the Eagles, they have made the choice. We are just not going to allow Saquon Barkley to beat us and go for these 70-yard runs, and we're just going to over-index on stopping him. And he's been, by just yards per carry, very inefficient in the Super Bowl, inefficient in this game. And obviously he still has a ton of gravity, but I do think this is going to feel a bit more like Jalen Hurts' offense this year.
They were run blitzing in the first half, it felt like quite a bit, saying like, okay, you're going to have to do something else once in a while. And then Hurts took off. Even one of the touchdown runs, Saquon ran an in-breaking route and was flowing with Hurts moving, and the defender had to choose, do I stay with Saquon or do I come up and tackle Jalen Hurts? And Hurts just basically walked into the end zone. So they are learning, not learning because they won the Super Bowl last year, but they know exactly, hey, they're allocating attention here, we're going to go elsewhere, and that is why, guys, there's going to be a lot of people panicked about A.J. Brown. today.
Right.
And he's going to have it.
Right.
It's not going to look like this every week.
No. Before we get there, so I mean, like, listen, again, like this is such a weird game that I would just truly throw it out for most purposes, right? Like, so Jalen Hurts averaged 4.9 air yards per attempt. This is somebody who averaged 7.8 last season, so it was really dinking dunk. He had only one pass attempt inside the red zone. That was that 3-yard pass to Saquon Barkley. But again, they were all playing back, and so to your point, he had 2 rushing touchdowns where he wanted to pass, but it wasn't there, and so he had to run it in. They were rushing touchdowns that weren't tush pushes as well. And so as you see here, in terms Goddard gets 7 targets. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a season high for him. If there's a positive to Saquon Barkley, you see that he gets the 5 targets, 4 for 24. Like, they use him more in the passing game, which is something that we wouldn't normally see here as well. So for people that might be a little panicked on Saquon Barkley, whatever, he's going to be fine. Obviously, he got the touchdown. They're going to involve him more in the passing game here. The other thing is that, like, because of the weather delay, it was also weird.
It was
right.
A
So
it
was just such a.
The start of the game was insanely bizarre.
Right, with Jalen Carter.
You have Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott.
You've got someone getting carted off before the game.
Yeah, you have somebody hurt on the kick return. Like, it was just there was constant stop and start in this game.
If somebody offered you A.J. Brown for Javonte Williams right now, would you do it?
I have to look at my roster and see what I need.
No, but I'm just right, so one reception for 8 yards, zero,
you're
one
taking
target.
A.J. Brown.
Of course.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they made
it.
Look,
keep his value high.
This was a again. We think they took what they took with the offensive. But look, AJ Brown played 87% of the offensive snaps. Right? He ran 32 routes. Like, he was out there. It's just like he was bracketed. Like, and they made a point of taking him away. And so that's why you see suddenly Jahan Dotson,
right?
Who's clearly going to be their number 3 wide receiver. Jahan Dotson get looks. Dallas Goedert get looks. 5 targets for Saquon Barkley. Again, the Eagles just sort of took what the defense gave them. Better days are ahead, I believe, for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But there's a scenario where we're not going to see a game. We're likely not going to see a 1-for-8 game again from A.J. Brown, but there may be some clunkers here along the way.
Like 3 for 27s, you could have them because of the way they can play.
Yeah, look, I thought A.J. Brown was going to have a great game last night, and that matchup took him over 71.5 yards, and he went under. He didn't go
they underhit on that one.
It was touch and go. But the thing with A.J. Brown, even though I think that he'll be fine, he's going to have a good year and finish it as a, top 10, 12 fantasy wide receiver, is that guys drafted in similar range to him, like Drake London's just not going to have these games, right?
He can't.
Nico Collins isn't going to have these games. They're too integral to their offense. So A.J. Brown's probably going to explode for like 150 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns at some point. But because they just have this versatility of weapons, and they have Saquon and they have Hurts' legs, there are just going to be some strange games with A.J., I think. And you're just going to have to ride it out.
Yeah.
Kyle Adams in the comments says Dotson's over-under was 7 receiving yards last night. They hit the big one, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's if you're going to be playing Jahan Dotson over-unders, you gotta have that one big play, and he had it.
That's what you have to do. Saquon Barkley under 19.5 rush attempts, though. That did cash. That was my best bet yesterday on this show. Meanwhile, though, by the way, I had to do a don't get me started. I had to do a 4-leg parlay last night.
Sure.
Anyway, and so I'm just like, you know what? If I have to do 4 legs, I'm alt-lining the crap out of this thing. Is what I'm gonna do, right? And like and so some of them hit, but like one of mine was like Jalen Hurts to throw 1 touchdown pass, which was at minus 500. But I threw it into it's 4-leg parlay, so I throw it in there. All right, fine, didn't hit. Yeah, that's
it's tough business.
It is a tough
4-leg parlay business.
Tough business. 4-leg parlay.
You need 4 things to go right.
No, it's just.
By the way, if you're an A.J. Brown manager down and out today, you're off to a tough start for your fantasy season, you drink for free here at the Happy Hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're here for you.
We're here.
We're here for you.
You got 0 points, but you do have a free beverage.
You got a couple
as much as you want, honestly. 1 for 8.
2 points?
1.8.
2 points.
Yeah, 1.8. 1.8. Anyway, we will give you a drink that is more than 1.8 ounces. I will tell you that. So yes. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.